Hello, and this is Mike Garner, here to help. And on this short presentation, I want to talk about a concept that I want you to be aware of and to hold in your consciousness, to have in your mind, to allow yourself to think without fear, and to allow that thinking to be absorbed through all four parts of you, which is the physical you, the emotional you, the mental you, and the spiritual you, the energy you, the higher self you, the person that watches you, that is there in the back of your mind telling you this is right, this is wrong. I've spent 40 years plus empowering people, so this presentation is not going to spread fear, but we can't allow ourselves to be duped. We can't be stupid. None of us have got mug written on our forehead. And whatever you think about the reason for the current situation in the world, and there's lots of theories out there, you'll have your own ideas. But I just want you to consider, hold in your mind where you think it's going. Because at the moment, today, the 18th of May 2020, we're waiting for our freedom to be restored to us. We are being controlled in what we believe is a democracy, and our leaders, our government, our experts, our scientists, we're being told, are deliberating and deciding on our behalf when our children can go to school, when we can come out of our own homes, when we can return to our businesses and our livelihoods, when we can go back to being human. At the moment, we're all caged, we're all confined, we're all limited, we're all restricted, and many of us have volunteered and put our hands up and said, yes, we'll do this. We want to save the NHS. We want to protect the vulnerable and the old. We want this to end. We'll go down this road. And we've gone down a road, haven't we? We've done what we've been told. I want you to consider now what human life is all about on those four levels. Your mental life, your emotional life, your physical life, and your spiritual aspirations, the purpose of you being here on this planet. And I would suggest that for many, many, many centuries, and particularly this century, and we've just celebrated VE Day, and we have Remembrance Day, and we honour those that fought for our liberation, for our freedom. Whoever you follow, whatever political persuasion, religious belief, culture you come from, freedom is your birthright. You should have a free body. You should be able to embrace free thinking. You should be able to express yourself freely, as long as it's not defamatory and violence and inciting violence. You should be able to express yourself freely emotionally and have the freedom to have a beautiful life. And I want you to ask yourself, do you believe at the moment that that's where society is going? Do you believe at the moment that society is moving in the direction where you're going to have your freedoms improved, or you're going to have them limited? As we go forward, wake up, and the government is telling us now not to stay at home but to be alert. I'm telling you to be alert, to witness, to observe the direction in which, from today forward, May the 18th, 2020, your government in your country, in your community, asks you to go. And then peacefully consider who benefits. because it's your right and it's my right to have freedom of thought, freedom of thinking, freedom of emotion, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. I moved to Thailand to be free. We are born to be free and uninhibited, but at the moment we are very inhibited. We are very restricted. What's coming next? Are we going to be given a vaccine? Is that vaccine going to be offered or enforced? I don't know. I've got ideas. Are we going to be able to make a choice? We know that taxes will rise. Somebody's got to pay for all this furloughing. And the government did the right thing with what we were told. But now, this new normal that we're being told we've got to accept, and we've got to be ever so grateful that the government's doing its very best for us. Tracking, tracing, vaccinations, restrictions. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that in 6 months' time we can all turn around and look back and laugh at this video and go, haha, Mr Mike Garner was wrong. Mark my words, I believe that there's going to be a second wave. I believe that that second wave will bring more restrictions, more erosions of your freedom. And we have a moral obligation to hold to account those that benefit from these situations. So I would suggest that we keep a diary and remember who said what. Because I have a good memory. I'm a mentalist. I forget very little of importance. Remember who said what and who benefits in the future. Because this is a democracy. We can vote with our feet. We have to call our leaders to account, and we have to hold ourselves to account. I said before in a previous presentation that sometime in the future your grandkids, your kids, people that you meet and greet, many years to come will say to you, you were around in the 2020s, weren't you? When there was this great pandemic that changed the world. What did you do about it, Grandad? What did you do about it, Grandma? What did you do about it? The question is, what did you do about it? Now, I'm into peace and love and positivity, but as I say, I haven't got mug on my forehead. And I think positively we can all move forward and get a lot of unity out of this situation. It's these situations where we're all in the same boat together that we tend to pull together as a community, and I hope that we do. I hope that we collectively unite and grow in strength and realise that if we lobby the government, if we say what we think, mean what we say, and say what we mean, and we're not frightened of sticking our head above the parapet and not be a sheep, then we have an opportunity now to be part of moulding this new normal. Saying nothing and being silenced isn't going to achieve that. We know that social media is limiting, deleting, erasing any activists who, in my opinion, mean well, whether or not I agree with them or not. If you agree with freedom of speech, you've got to allow those people to speak, as long as it's not inciting violence, racial hatred, division. But anything that informs and inspires, even if you think it's BS, those people have got to be allowed to have their views expressed. To suppress them, well, we know from history what suppression, oppression and dictatorships create. And as a hypnotist, a mentalist, I'm looking at the programming by the government and the new programming now, which was before stay at home, save the NHS, wash your hands, and the message now is changed, and the message has changed, the logo's changed, the colours on the logo's changed. It's all NLP. It's all subliminal programming. It's gone from red to green, so we're all supposed to feel safe, but go to work, don't go to work, and all those jokes, which are brilliant. It's funny and it's amusing, and you've got to find humour, but this is not very funny what's going on. Your life, your freedom, my life, my freedom, is in other people's hands. Do you trust those other people? Maybe you do. And as I say, I'm a positive thinker and I'm spreading positivity. Take the power back. Because if only the few speak, then we lose our power, because we are the many. The government are the few. See behind the message, ask the question, who benefits from this, and remember who said it. Because, as I say, I do hope that in the future we can look back and say, Mike Garner was wrong. Lots of other people who were saying the same thing were wrong. There wasn't a second wave, but trust me, I believe we're going to have our freedoms minutely returned to us. There'll be a relaxation of lockdown measures, and then woof, it's going to come back. I don't know whether it's going to be another wave of the virus or more security, more legislation and regulation. Certainly facial recognition, tracking, tracing, scanning, changing financial circumstances and the way that we interact financially, the way we interact socially. A new paradigm, which could be fun, could be exciting, could be positive. And I'm praying with a lot of light workers, doing my bit metaphysically as well as physically. But I'm here to help, and I think it's helpful at the moment to be alert, as the government advises to do, but be alert about the government. We all know how to wash our hands and to keep ourselves safe from the virus. None of us are stupid. None of us have got mug on our forehead. We're not going to cough in people's faces and shake hands with people that we don't know, and not wash our hands and not observe hygiene rules during a virus or an infection. We don't need to be told. We live in well, we've come through childhood and survived all sorts of viruses. We're not going to willingly put ourselves at risk or put other people at risk. And we will follow the science if the science isn't flawed and doesn't change and doesn't have an agenda. But none of this is transparent. So, seek freedom for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for the future, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Be aware that These events are triggering world change. This, in my opinion, is a massive experiment in social engineering. And who benefits? Because unless you benefit or I benefit, I'm not up for it anymore. And whatever happens, I'm going to create my own freedom of expression, my own free thinking, my own free expression of love, my own physical freedom. Here in Thailand, as I am at the moment, despite the fact that the Thai government is very much a pseudo-dictatorship, they do have a good regime. They've nailed it here. The lockdown was never serious. Social distancing was observed without any problems. It had great success. They were able to isolate the few cases that were in the population. And I think there's been less than 100 deaths in the whole of Thailand, which has a similar population to the United Kingdom. There's no talk about vaccines, there's no talk about serious facial recognition, and everybody just wants to get back to normal, the old normal. Not a new controlled normal, not an Orwellian normal, a police state normal, a military controlled, suppressed normal. We are born to be free and unlimited, uninhibited. We are amazing. And the only way we can continue to be amazing is if we're allowed to be, is if the culture, the environment, the system, if you like, recognises you, honours you, respects you, values you. Do you feel at the moment in your community, in your culture, with your media, with your government, that you're being valued, respected? Maybe you do. Let me know. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we can all laugh and say, haha, Mr Mike Garner was wrong. No second wave, no restrictions. Here we are, back to normal. All down at Wetherspoons, in the pub, having a pint, enjoying a pie, having a laugh, back in the restaurant, drinking Prosecco. No worries. I'm a positive person, but I don't see it going that way. But I hope I'm wrong. Seek freedom, seek power, push for democracy, have your views expressed. I notice, I think it's a good thing, but it's a strong message I'm going to end with. I notice that they're training dogs now to sniff COVID-19, whatever that is. They're clever, isn't it, these dogs? But it reminds me a little bit of sheepdogs herding the sheep. I know it's a positive thing, but I got that image in my mind when I saw the dogs being trained. I thought, yeah, they've got dogs now that will encircle the populations to get off planes, off trains, off buses. Don't be a sheep. Be powerful. Think for yourself. And I'm here to help. And if I can, all you have to do is inbox me and talk. And if there's anything here you agree with or disagree with, I'm happy to hear both points of view. This is positive because I'm into personal power. And to me, there's no power in this. And there's no power in the way it was going. And the power, as always, is being kept in the hands of the few, while the many are powerless. And for me, that's not good enough. Be powerful, enjoy your mind. God bless.